friends for that.
He didn't have to hide it from me.
What?
Was he supposed to be here to spy on the chief's wife?
No shit!
Well, instead of Ashton, because we've all been assuming that he's spying on Ashton.
That's true.
Wait, who's spying on Ashton?
Or, not Ashton,
You mean Luke?
Sorry, wrong asshole.
Hello everyone and welcome back to 4pixels. Coco and Kimi are here with our guests Buttons and Leifling. We are continuing the letter.
Yay!
In a few steps we're out, away from the commotion and the suffocating tension. I don't stay long with them though. Even if I want to, Ashton's still somewhere in that crowd. I've got to go back for him at least.
No, you leave him.
No matter how much the idea of that alone sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach.
You really can just leave
I gotta
him.
go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out. You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Besides, it seems Zachary can handle this without another person helping out. In fact, for some reason I've got this strange impression I might be intruding on something if I elect to remain. Better to entrust this with someone she's comfortable with. And though it might be a little inappropriate considering what has transpired, a smile worms its way to my lips as I leave. Good on them, I suppose. Chatter has exploded throughout the whole ballroom once I return. Worried murmurs, clicking of tongue, and inappropriate gossip filters through the thick tension in the room. Most of them haven't even left the premises and they're already talking about it. Tomorrow, it'll be on the news for sure, in every local broadsheet and tabloid in Luxburn. No wonder Luke's knee-deep into damage control. With the scandalous woman gone, he has turned his attention on the media covering the event. Though, so far, he isn't faring well in the cleanup department.
Now, people, we all know the drill. I'm sure you're all itching to get a start on those articles.
Good thing Zachary isn't here. I can't imagine a man of his temperament dealing with someone like him.
But if I read one word, see one picture about this come morning, even a single shot of the bloody wine glass the harlot held, you will all lose more than your jobs.
Luke's diatribe goes on for another few minutes, after which he excuses himself out of the area. There's a brief lull, a reluctant pause before the place comes astir again, but shortly the buzz returns. Dancers have once again taken to the floor, and their guests' excited talk begins anew. But I couldn't care less about any of this now. Simply standing in the middle of it already gives me a headache.
Relatable.
When the shock has faded, I just feel bone tired. I've accomplished nothing of what I've come here for, and apparently Ashton's disappeared sometime during the commotion. I'm not sure what pisses me off more. That he ignored me the whole evening and might have just left without saying anything, or knowing he obviously has some other motive for being here. Can't he at least trust his own friends for that?
He didn't have to hide it from me.
What?
Was he supposed to be here to spy on the chief's wife?
No shit!
Well, instead of Ashton, because we've all been assuming that he's spying on Ashton.
That's true.
Wait, who's spying on Ashton?
Or, not Ashton,
You mean Luke?
Sorry, wrong asshole.
I was literally just about to sit here and give a long-suffering sigh that, Becca, I need you to stop this. You know he's a fucking undercover cop. You know that this is part of his job.
Yup.
You know that he's working on the right case. Like, can you please just take a moment to chill and not take everything so personally?
Does she know he's working on the right case? I don't know if that's ever been confirmed to this point.
I
I don't know if they
know.
know.
I don't know if
it's
she
the right
does.
case,
The thing,
but I know they.
Ashton had talked to Zachary.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Bella knew. Like, Isabella knew.
I'm pretty sure they all knew. I don't know if they knew that it was like the right case, but they all knew it was like a very important case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought
That
he
people
was
can
tracking down that murderer.
Well, the two are kind of synonymous at this
Well,
point.
yeah, but
At least
whether-
that's Mr. At least that's Mr. Ashton's opinion on the matter.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know if she knows it's a case concerning the rights, but she should know that. Like, she should
Yeah.
know he's a detective.
yeah.
And that if
Yeah.
he's if he's like running around avoiding his friends and people, that maybe it's because he's on the job.
And if he is in a place that she mentioned quite a few times, he hates,
Yeah, right.
most probably
Valid
he's
points.
doing something.
Yeah. It's the last straw. No longer in the mood, I grab my bag and head out, more than ready to end the disastrous night as early as possible. As it turns out, the night isn't done with me yet. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Ba ba ba!
I don't like how
Long
this looks.
sigh. Because no sooner has the porter closed the door behind me, I find myself standing alone in the foyer with one Luke Wright.
Oh no, this is worse than I thought. I thought it was just going to be the ghost girl.
Rip in pieces. Get dragged. Get destroyed.
No sign of Hannah or Zachary. Just him and the agitated clicks his shoes make while he treads around the empty room. Away from the media's prying eyes and their guests' judging stares, it's easy to glean how much the scandal has shaken him. Not to the point where he has utterly lost his composure. He appears to have mastered himself enough not to. But an ample opening is there for a nervous edge to show on the lines of his shoulders.
What do you know?
What? That's...
What?
That was a
What?
very weird question.
Yeah, especially like out of nowhere.
Well, I don't know how it was phrased because I couldn't hear anything, but usually in this kind of situation, the way that they phrase it is, well, what do you know? As
She sounded
opposed
very
to-
Oh, probably.
mystified. Yeah.
What was...
She sounded very mystified, so
Ah,
I think your interpretation is right, but maybe
the direction was wrong.
yeah. The man is not as tough as he makes himself out to be. Sure, I've seen this before. Briefly, in that 1 second in the hallway at school. It's a strange matter, however, to witness this out in the open. Behind closed doors, this is the real Luke Wright. Though, maybe, that's because he hasn't noticed my presence yet, busy as he is with his thinking. If he's aware, I doubt he'll be acting like this. His pride is one thing he will always wear with him. Even now, when I place a gentle hand on his shoulders and he whirls around to face me, there's a second-long moment of anger flashing across his features before it dissolves into confusion. He tucks it away as quickly as he can, but it does nothing to change the impression I've built of the man in my head.
Daisy, must you be everywhere?
We've only met 3 times, Luke. Quit the dramatics. Besides, shouldn't you be aware of who gets invited to your party?
If I was, there wouldn't be any of that scene tonight. That munter wouldn't even get an inch within this property. I'd ban her off Luxborn if I could.
He probably pawns everything off to their servants in Hana. Pompous elitist douche.
Did you just come out here to lecture me about it? Because, Daisy, I can already feel one coming tomorrow. I don't need to hear one from you tonight.
You are a very unpleasant man.
So I've been told. Will that be all? If so, I suggest you go back and join every bloody goss in that room.
Not everything. As unpleasant and frustrating talking with this man is, he deserves the benefit of the doubt at least. The questions and criticisms aren't lacking, of course. But right this instant, there's only one thing that comes to mind.
Oh lord.
You should be with your wife? Question mark?
Okay.
While true, I want to know if it's true or not.
And my brain immediately went with the you should be with your wife is that well, first of all, he'll probably be like, who do you think I'm looking for? And second of all, that he may actually go out and find Hannah and Zach together and yikes.
That's true, I didn't think of that.
That would probably also, because didn't he also mention the two of them being together in the morning after conversation?
I don't recall that, but I think that if he did actually go out and find them, that... Like, I don't think that's a possible thing since it didn't happen in Zachary's chapter.
That's
a
true.
good point.
Or Hannah's.
Yeah.
I'm still voting for is it true?
Okay. What was your vote buttons?
I was on board for is it true?
Fuck.
And Kime said you should be with your wife.
Because I was leaning towards the bottom one, so...
Shit!
Who has
Oh,
the coin?
Not me, actually.
I do.
Alright, so heads is it true, tails is you should be with your wife.
And it's... Tails.
Alright.
You know, brooding over here isn't going to fix this mess.
I wonder how did that go?
Fuck!
Thanks, Kime and Coco. Stop pushing the fucking Becca Luke pairing over here. Jeez.
You know what? Whatever, it's happening. I've accepted this fate. I've accepted this fate.
Yeah.
I must confess, I sort of shipped them.
Oh no.
I'm actually kind of on board with the Becca.
Like, the thing is, it's better than Luke and Hana, because at least
Yeah,
Becca
exactly.
Becca is better,
No.
more suited to kicking him in the
You
face.
guys are destroying my OTP of Luke X death.
Hey, you know, we could get
Luke
Becca
X
and Luke
his
together
grave.
right before he dies. Just
Oh.
that way the
'Cause then
guy
that's
dies
just
in
going to
ultimate agony.
That's gonna destroy Becca though.
She's destroyed
Why-
herself
why
by
do you
pining
hate
after
Becca?
someone who doesn't care about her for 17 years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's fucking stupid, but like she should get together with somebody else.
Who else is available? Literally no one.
I mean, the best
Hold
ship
on.
for me is still Isabella, come on. Especially now that she's getting a clue
Yeah.
to stop treating her like a kid.
Yeah.
I've never shipped it, so I don't know.
Again with the lecture.
Will you stop calling it that?
Very well, what should we call this then? A heart-to-heart?
No.
Pumping organs coming close together.
Ugh. Ugh.
So thanks, you just reminded me of this fucking horror story that is real about like how they handle your intestines during an operation. Like your intestines just like while you're knocked out and while they're out of your body, they just wiggle around everywhere. And they literally have to like hang them up and like make sure that the hang that they put it on has a slight hook curve to it because the fucking intestines will just jump off and go wriggling about the floor. And the worst thing is when they put it back in your body, they literally just throw your intestines back in the body and they just eventually move back into place. And I'm just like, I want my intestines removed permanently now.
I just love the idea of like Tremors intestines. Like they just wait and then they strike.
Literally, your intestines are actually just snakes inside your body.
Aww. That makes it seem so much cuter now.
Except for all the people who are terrified of snakes. They're actually having a heart attack right now.
Sorry, guys.
They hate me now.
Please don't. I might puke. And just so you know, I don't want to talk about feelings. Ever.
This isn't one, all right? It's just a friendly concern. Bloody hell, can't you just take it for what it is?
He pauses at that. Suddenly, he doesn't know what to do with his hand, and in the end, he simply stuffs them back into his pocket.
What?
Coco?
Coco?
What's so funny, Coco?
Nothing.
Quieres decir yo, Coco?
No. We're good. We're good.
You okay? What's going on?
Fine. No, nothing.
Confess.
Are you still thinking about the intestines?
Maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. There probably aren't many people who tell him that. He's a difficult man to get along with, after all.
I think he's more pouting because Becca just said that she's his friend, in more or less words. And he's just like, I've never had a friend before.
Probably.
Which I would believe.
Yeah.
Seems believable.
I honestly won't give him a second of my time if I didn't see a different side to him. Dealing with him requires more than patience. When the awkwardness passes, mostly coming from him, he merely glances away. But the tightness in his shoulders has eased, and when he speaks again, despite his rather rude choice of words, none has any venom in it.
Friendly concern, right. While we're at it, I should mention that Hana used to call that Viper friend. Now I think she might want to strangle the Munta if she sees her again. After she's done with me, of course.
I doubt she's going to do anything like that.
What do you even know about this?
Oh, I know enough. You may look like a sleazy douche, and you still are, by the way.
Correct.
It's almost comical how fast his face shifts from mild disdain to offended, but I don't let it distract me, not describe me. These things need to be said, and he needs to hear them. Even though they're coming from some meddling stranger.
But you have your few good moments. I might even say that you're a decent person, if I'm in the mood. Now go. If you really love her, you've got to try and fix this yourself.
Maybe tomorrow.
Luke.
Daisy, did you see her earlier? Was that the face of a wife who wants to have a chat with her cheating husband?
Yep, well, there's the admittance.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, at least you admitted you did something wrong. Good for you. How about a star? Would you like a star to go with that good deed?
God damn.
Don't get used to it. Do you realize how awkward this is?
Oh, I do.
Before I've even thought about what to say, I've known there can only be two ways this can go. All things considered, it isn't as bad as I've assumed. However, there are still some things my brand of encouragement can't fix. His marital problems, first and foremost, his attitude follows right after. Concerns aside, I can't help with those. Those are things only he can fix, and it's definitely not by standing around here bantering.
Don't worry, I was just about to leave. Feel free to continue with your brooding once I'm gone. I'm not going to tell anyone. Cross my heart.
You think this is funny, Daisy?
Laughter is the only response I give him.
Dragged.
Too long didn't read Stop Sulking. With a slight wave of my hand, I end it right there and walk away. although I can't resist the urge to glance back before I leave, if only to have one last look at the man he really is. But the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it.
Oh no!
You see what? Oh.
Well, that's a great
Oh
image.
shit!
Damn.
Dang, that thing's humping him.
Yep.
All right, so our call of the ghost wants to possess him and only him and no other is pretty on point.
Yeah, that's how it seems.
That is a different kind of possession than I thought you were talking about. I thought you meant possess in the ghost way, but you're talking about possess as in have him and only him.
Well, if it's the now that we have had that reveal that the ghost is Charlotte and not the maid, it makes sense.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Charlotte, because she does have the ability to take on whatever appearance that she wants.
True, but then in somebody afterwards chapter they say Charlotte's mysterious death.
Charlotte was said to have committed suicide at the very, very beginning.
So what if she committed suicide because her husband left?
Maybe. Tried to run off with the maid. I don't know. God. Like, is that her? Oh, that's her chin that's right on his shoulder. I thought that was where, like, her teeth and she was, like, gnawing on him or something.
Nom nom.
Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like a moth to a flame. Like the first time I've stepped inside this place in search of Isabella. He was there too, wasn't he? That man, along with his wife and another person, Miss McCulloch? And that shadow. No. A woman now. Her, no longer a blur. Terror rushes through every vein in my body. A crippling sensation gripping every part of me, while she stares at me with a glare filled with nothing but hate and venom. Probably not happy about telling him to go to his wife.
Probably.
It's like staring at the eyes of a woman I've unknowingly robbed of something precious. Or maybe not
boy.
happy about how high their relationship is. I try to say something. A warning. But before I can gather my wits and voice it out, someone shuts the door behind me. As if to keep outsiders away from the secrets this mansion possesses. The brush of fresh air against my cheek does little to dampen the chill in my bones. By now, the sensation, the fear and disquiet, it leaves whenever I see her, is familiar enough for me. Already it has made a home in my nerves. I don't even notice my trembling hands until I cross my arms across my chest. The cold from the tips of my fingers seeps through the thick material of my shirt. Neither of it helps bring together some semblance of coherent thought in my head. But I know I should.
Someone has to tell that douche.
I start walking back before fear can cripple me again. It's not wise. Returning, that is, especially after what happened. But Hana's still an old friend, and Luke doesn't deserve whatever misfortune that letter might bring. I can't just leave those two in there. Isabella's right. She's real, and there's something she wants from everyone who has read that.
Becca, where'd you go off to?
My mistake. The second his voice cuts through this crisp night air is that I've allowed my annoyance get the better of me. Fuming, purpose forgotten, I whirl around and march towards him.
Becca, no!
One accusation after another piles up at the tip of my tongue, ready to be hurled at any moment. There's no hesitation holding me back when I fling at him. That straight face he keeps as I do doesn't help temper my anger either. It only makes me want to slap some more sense into him.
Shouldn't I be the one asking you that?
Becca, I've been waiting here the whole time since that mess in the hall. I told you I hate parties like...
Wait, what?
And before that, where have you been the entire evening?
Right then and there I might have forgiven him if he'd shown some ounce of remorse for leaving me like that. Maybe he could have looked away, giving me a sign that my assumptions might be right. He doesn't even need to put them into words. A single gesture of confirmation is all I need. Rather, what I get is the same impassive look. He does that whenever he can't disclose anything. He does that whenever he's lying. In the face of it, amidst the thick tension, a frustrated huff is the only thing I can summon.
Be that way. Fine. Suit yourself.
No more words. After everything I've seen and heard tonight, I'm already too exhausted for those. So, without speaking any further, I simply walk past him and stomp over his car.
Hold on! How big is Becca?
Wait, what?
That's
Is she got suicide?
Best typo, leave it in.
That's the
He's
best
stomping
one.
right over his car, just crunch, crunch, crunch.
Shirley is the second death in this game.
Just fucking Goofy Riot. That's amazing.
Although before I can pull open the door, he calls out, one hand outstretched, a gentle weight on my shoulders.
Wait,
No.
Becca.
He pauses, his brows furrowing and lips curving into a slight frown. I can almost see the gears turning in his head while he tries to piece together everything he wants to say. Before, perhaps, I might have waited patiently for those. He's not a man fond of using words to express himself. More often than not, any gesture of honesty will only come out blunt and coarse when forced. But today, for one reason or another, I simply can't summon that forbearance.
Ashton,
I
if
wonder
you're
why.
just going to waste my time again.
Becca, listen. I don't know how else...
That much is obvious. Why don't you just take the whole bloody night? Go on.
Damn.
I can wait until next year. Better yet, why don't you just keep it all to yourself like you always do? It's not
Damn!
Rebecca, will you hear me out first?
The silence I can offer him, but whether I'll believe what he's about to say is still up for debate. A very long debate.
I honestly don't know how else to put this.
Did he see something? Finally?
Maybe?
I'm
Hopefully?
aware your parents have
We'll
some
see.
kind of history with Hana Wright, and somehow you're friends with her. But you should stay away from these people for now, especially the husband.
Well, about that.
You see.
About that.
Three-fourths of
that.
the party wants to get them together, so...
Right now, our relationship with him is higher than you.
I like a lot.
Yep.
Who? Luke?
His expression deepens into a scowl at my mention of the name, but whatever opinion he has, he doesn't immediately voice. Still, something about it has greatly displeased him, evident in the stiff note his tone assumes.
Yeah, he's bad news.
It's my turn to frown this time. What does he mean by that? And with that, we'll leave this question for
God
next
damn it,
time.
Coco.
Yeah.
Damn it, Coco.
Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I was assuming that there was somewhere else that we needed to go first.
Oh, I mean,
What a nice girl. Access granted. Thanks for putting us through that shit, you stupid fuck.
that. Oh my goodness. This ladder leads to the basement. Oh boy. Gotta answer the door first. Oh, the food is here. A strange hissing noise is coming from behind the door. Want me to open it? Open it.
Charlotte opens the door.
There's a giant cockroach behind it. Ah!
That reaction. Charlie's Healthy Junk Food Delivery. Please sign here.
This is not fine.